And there we go. We're off and running.
Awesome.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Well, Johnny, I appreciate you jumping on with us. I mean, you got a lot going on, don't you?
Yeah, we're getting busy. That's for sure. But you know what? We took long enough on some stuff. It's okay to get busy. Not that we were sitting around twiddling our thumbs or anything, but now people can kind of see how much work we were doing for the last while.
Right. Yeah, you were definitely not just sitting around. Well, I know you've been doing the gauntlet of interviews today, and I'm sure you've answered a lot of the same questions that I'll ask you about the single and the album and the tour and stuff like that. But I did want to let you know that I did come prepared in case this was going to turn into Drinks with Johnny.
I love it, man. What is that? What was that drink?
This is actually a kind of local one, Big Grove.
That is right. What is that? An IPA?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's still it's cloudy and cold here.
Yeah, I mean, I drink IPA on any occasion, but except this one, unfortunately, we'll have to reconnect and do it at another time to make it more Drinks with Johnny. Because unfortunately, after this, I got to go do another podcast, and then I got to go to rehearsals. The podcasting I could do a little inebriated, but the rehearsals I should probably be a little bit more on. So I'm going to skip the drinks today, but I'll still give you a cheers, buddy. Thanks for having me.
There we go. Cheers. Well, yeah, I mean, first off, before we get into everything else, so Drinks with Johnny, it's fantastic. Went down even more of a rabbit hole last night, and there were a couple videos that I stumbled upon. First off, you had a talk with somebody from KROQ on there, and it was the hidden secrets of FM radio, and it kind of crushed my soul a little.
Oh wait, which one? No, maybe it wasn't Ted Stryker, but that was Matt Money Smith. Because
it was Matt Money.
He was so Ted was the host, good friend of mine, and good friend of the band here locally in Southern California. But Matt was the actual program director for a while. So that's so he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and it was good. I mean, everything was good with it. It was just him talking about the programming and the formula they use and stuff like that. I'm just like, not everybody does that.
Not everybody does that. That's how they did it. That's how they were doing it at K-Rock at that time. Who knows what they're doing now?
For sure. And it's become the standard of, you talk about the separation and stuff like that. I'm just like, man, I'm still the one that, someone just asked to hear, what do they hear? Some random song from the Architects. I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's play it. Why not? We do things different absolutely. Here. So
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Here and now is different. And then the second thing that I got sucked into was more of the Wrestlemania talk.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big wrestling fan.
Yeah. Was that your first time at a Wrestlemania?
No. Technically, it was my third. Okay. I only remember two of them, and it's not because I was inebriated. It's because the first one I went to, I was 3 months old, and I was not a formula baby, put it that way. So I had to go with my mom and dad, who were going to Wrestlemania. So I was technically there. WrestleMania 2. It was the simulcasted Wrestlemania, which is insane to think that Vince McMahon tried to do that in '85 and succeeded, where he had 3 arenas at the same time showing wrestling on the jumbotrons live to each city, while also recording their own matches right in front of them, which is mind-boggling. I mean, now it'd be, whatever. He just set up a couple of Streamlabs, not what a big deal, or a couple of TriCasters. But no, this was like, that technology didn't exist then.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he was an innovator and is where he is now.
Yeah. Hey, and that mustache, man, that mustache is so beautiful. It is beautiful to me.
Are we sure he isn't the lead singer of Ghost?
I didn't even put that one together. Oh, that's great. Tobias. Yes, he's got a message from the clergy. Vince McMahon is
Vince McMahon.
Tobias.
Well, yeah, we could talk all. I'm a wrestling guy too. I could spend hours with that or radio. So if you ever want to have more drinks with Johnny, I'll be your guy. But let's get into everything you've been doing for I guess the last 7 years, huh?
Yeah, man. It's been a bit.
It's been a bit. So I mean, what was that final push, that final kind of trigger? Because I know you kind of talked a little bit about all the stuff, whether it's band stuff or, world stuff when it comes to a pandemic. But what was that final push, that final thing that said, hey, we got more in us. Let's get this going. Let's put this together and make it.
Well, I think the push was there the whole time. I mean, it's 7 years for everyone at home and the audience and the fans. For us, it's been 5 years. We got off the road in 2018, summer of 2018, like we usually would. And well, I have to correct myself there. It's not like we usually. We got off the road. Matt had some vocal issues. We weren't able to go out with Prophets of Rage that we had planned. So it took us a step back, but like we usually would when we get off the road, we take a couple of months to hang out with friends and family and try and bring in a bit of a muse. This one I think we actually started writing even faster than that. So basically we get off the road, we write. That's what we do basically. This was no different. We got off the road, we started writing, demoing out, feeling out vibes of what everyone wanted to accomplish with the record, and then went to work. And unfortunately, there was some delays along the way that hindered us finishing it sooner than we were originally planning, right? But there's a silver lining in it. We took time and spaced out everything, and we're super meticulous with everything that everyone's going to hear on June 2nd with this record. Sonically, we did things differently. Musically, we did things differently. I mean, writing, we did things differently, and not just from us. Just I haven't heard anything else like this, especially in our genre. Maybe you could say from this genre, that genre, but the genre that we've always been put into is hard rock, obviously. It definitely blurs the lines of all that, and we've been I know, again, a lot of people think it's been like, oh, when did you turn it back on? It's like, no, we've been working this whole time. Like this whole time we've been home, we've been working on individual projects. Like we mentioned, Drinks with Johnny, I've been working on that. Sin with his guitar school, everything. All of that is what people have seen. So they're like, oh, they're not working on the band stuff anymore. And it's like, no, we were working, like we can do multiple things. Like I'm capable of doing a couple of things at once. It's not that crazy, but but it did. There's time in between, right? Because even writing, it's like it slows everything down. We have young families and stuff, so we weren't grinding on the writing process like maybe we've done in the past, where you go in and you just, no matter what, show up 6 days a week, whether you have something or not, and just grind it out and work together and start from scratch. This time it was a little different. It was mostly Matt and Brian getting in the room, starting things off, and then we'd come in later and collab with it. And because those guys just went off on it, and they had such a good, beautiful vision for this record that I just lean on my brothers and went, hey, you guys got it. This is awesome, we, as I said, we all collaborate. We all make this music together at the end of the day. But the initial stuff was definitely writing with those two. And I think it's a special record, man. I'm just excited. Like, it's really, we've been living with this music for the last 5 years. It's new to everybody else, but we've been living with it, working with it diligently. Getting into the studio was different. When we got in the studio right before the pandemic era, we had scheduled it, rather. I'm sorry. We had scheduled time. So, I mean, it really wasn't that long. We got off in 2018. By early 2020, we were ready to, about a year and a half, we were already ready to start recording the record. And then delays started happening due to the pandemic and things that we didn't want to sacrifice on our recording process. Strings, getting everyone together in the same room, things like that. We're like everything was kind of restricted, and that took longer than we expected it to get back to a certain point where we could. And then, each step that, as everyone was coming out of that pandemic, we get in and get what we could done. And then we'd have to wait a little bit so that we could get this next part done. So it just kind of spread it out, but it also, a silver lining in it, at least for this record, was that it really made us take the time with each section we were accomplishing in between those hesitations, and then all the way up until last year in August in 2022 when we started mixing it. You know, we took that same approach and everything, mixing with the great Andy Wallace, who's an incredible engineer and producer and just a great dude all around. We actually got to go out to his house in the Poconos, which was amazing. He's got like a Jay Leno style car museum there. It's just incredible to work with him, and he saw the vision in us too, coming in after the music has already been laid down, and really worked with us. You know, he actually stepped away from the soundboard a couple of times and let Brian start tweaking stuff. You know, it was very much a collaboration. We've worked with him since City of Evil. We have a really good rapport with him. And look, if he did, you know, we do everything together on that. And he just came in as like a sixth member on that process and really helped us achieve what we wanted to do. And I think at least at this point, even people can hear that it's different sonically. And we've taken the time to make that a reality and paint the picture that we wanted, make the music that we wanted, and make it sound the way we wanted it to sound.
And yeah, I mean, you have that luxury of taking that time. An established band, you know, during the pandemic, there were some bands that were just starting out or younger, and it was like they had to figure it out, you know, basically recording like this. So you had that luxury to take that time and find that different style and find that different sound, but yet still sound like Avenged Sevenfold. Mm-hmm. How through that process do you go, you know, we want to evolve. We don't want to make Bat Country again. You want to hear Bat Country, go listen to Bat Country. Right. But we want to still sound like Avenged Sevenfold. How in that process do you kind of go, this is who we still are, but we're kind of also sounding like this?
You know, it's fun. It's a fun question for me because it's not a conscious thing. To this level, and pretty much to every record that we've always done, we challenge ourselves to sound different and do something different. Like I said, we've done every time in our career. Each time you do that, we put so much of us into that creating that art that it becomes part of our DNA. And whether we know it or not, it's still there in the next writing process, and the next writing process, and the next writing process. So much so that at this point, I think we all talk about it internally. No matter what we say, we can say we want to sound like the craziest hip hop thing or a classical thing or whatever. But once you put it through us, it goes through the quote unquote Avenged Sevenfold filter. And that's just us. And that's where you get that character of Avenged Sevenfold, really. And so to answer the question, it's not like a direct thought of like, oh, now we went too crazy, let's bring it back and make it more Avenged-y. You know, it's like, no, we're going for it. This is what it sounds like when we go for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just always going to have, I mean, look, we have distinct players in this band. I mean, you got a lead vocalist like M Shadows, very distinct, awesome voice. You got the guitar workings of Sinister and Zachy, just so distinct. And who's gonna mix up Brooks Wackerman style with anybody else? And you know, it's just, we have a bunch of unique players together that I think no matter how far out we go, it's gonna fall into that uniqueness anyway. And it just sounds like Avenged Sevenfold by the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the new song, Nobody, crushing, killing it. Life is But a Dream, out June 2nd, and then you're back on the road. Closest you'll be to us will be in Chicago, July 28th. Last question, then I'll let you go. I've seen you open for Metallica with 80,000 people in Houston. Every band at some point has played for 100 people at a Denny's or wherever the hell it was. If you got one more show left in you, where's that perfect venue mix where it's like, it's a big enough crowd to get that energy, but small enough to feel intimate? Or do you love the 80,000? Where is that perfect venue for Johnny to play?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a perfect venue in between those two. To be honest, for me, I'm a guy who can appreciate. I mean, you shot for the moon then when you said remember playing in front of 100 people. I remember playing in front of 5 people. You know, so but you know, going and then, but I like the majesty and the bigness that you can get out of a stadium show. And that we started this conversation with Drinks with Johnny and Wrestlemania recap and stuff, and being in SoFi, seeing their stage as they were walking to the ring. Yeah, I want to play SoFi sold out Avenged Sevenfold show. That's my goal.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, yeah, Life is But a Dream, June 2nd. I can't wait to hear the rest of what you got in store because, yeah, it's Avenged Sevenfold for sure. And good luck on the tour this summer. I know you guys are going to crush it like always.
Thank you, man. Can't wait to see you out there.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Johnny.
All right, cheers.
Bye. Cheers.
Well, thank you, Ryan, and nice to meet you officially.
Officially, yes.